Normally, once Dash was in Manhattan, he'd stay in his apartment instead of heading back to the Hamptons. It was a long trip to do twice in one day, especially with traffic. But Cassidy had rented a house near Xander and Sasha's, and she had nowhere to stay in the city. She could sleep at his place in a guest room, but he already knew she'd refuse. He hadn't wanted to send her back to the beach alone, and since she was his assistant, at least for now, he asked her to call a car service to take them home. He wasn't in the mood to deal with an Uber driver who might be a fan. The service the band used knew better than to bother their clients. Since the waitress had been so good about giving him space, privacy, and anonymity, he'd left her an extra large tip. He'd heard her mention to another server that her son loved the guitar and was a fan, so he'd asked her the kid's name, signed a personal note, and left it along with a gratuity. He'd noticed Cassidy's soft expression, but he hadn't done it to win points. He was grateful for them, as he needed her to relax around him, but the truth was he liked to show his appreciation to people who treated him like a regular human being and not a famous star they wanted something from. They drove back to East Hampton in silence, and he sensed Cassidy was thinking about what she'd gotten herself into by agreeing to be his fake girlfriend. Hell, he was wondering the same thing, but there was something about this woman that affected him, and had from the moment he'd seen her from the first time. He wasn't a romantic, not by a long shot, but one look at her porcelain skin, delicate nose, full lips, jade eyes he could get lost in, and he'd felt a connection, one he'd been smart enough to act on and stupid enough not to treat with care. Dash asked the driver to stop at Cassidy's first. She'd rented a pretty Cape Cod house, small by East Hampton standards, but the whole look of the place, from the colorful flowers out front to the rocking bench on the porch, suited her. While the driver waited, Dash walked her to the door, pausing as she opened her bag and looked for her keys, which she fished out after a solid minute of rooting around. "So are you sure you're good with the plan?" he asked, before she could unlock her door. She nodded. "I'm sure." As she was about to slide the key into the lock, he slipped an arm around her waist and turned her to face him. She jerked at his touch and pulled back. "What are you doing?" "Making a point," and crowding her because he wanted to. "If we're going to make people believe our relationship is